the What If Podcast with Ryan and Spencer and Andrew Poitras.
What up?
Yo.
Putting your whole name out on the internet just right away.
It's fine. I feel famous already.
Your birth certificate has now been photocopied and is in the show description. Everyone's going to know where to find you.
Yep.
They have
My
your
Hall of
socials.
Fame star is going right next to Trump's.
Oh, boy.
Jesus.
Is it so it can slowly overtake it? Like it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it eats it?
Yes.
Andrew and I are taking a break from recording our Screamo Trap record to bring you this episode of the podcast.
Hey, speaking of recording records, we have a celebratory event for today. Yes. You want to tell the people? You want me to tell the people?
Go for it.
Spencer's record drop today, y'all. Go get that motherfucker.
I'll put a link down below.
Not
a lot
that
of you guys found it already because I've been just playing it on the podcast the last couple weeks.
War balloons.
War balloons, Guante and Big Cats. It's everywhere records are records, which are...
Except in the physical world.
Which are mostly bits and bytes these days.
Yeah.
Congrats, man. The record sounds dope.
Appreciate that.
I listened to Bumbling Shithead Fascists on my way over here.
Yeah.
And if there ain't a better name for a song, I don't know what it is.
Oh, for a second, I thought maybe there was some features on the track.
Featuring the Bumbling Shithead Fascists.
Yeah, that's my new group. Yo, what are we going to call our Screamo Trap band?
Screamo Trap Band
geez,
is
it's
just so next level, you guys.
I mean, I can think of the style of the name. It'll be in that same vein as like Blessed by a Broken Heart. but that's already a band, so not that one.
Okay.
But, you know, I just got to think on it.
I like that it must be whispered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But parentheses, but whispered.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is, it's but whispered.
It's kind of like when they put the exclamation point at the end of Panic at the Disco.
Yeah, yeah.
But like in parentheses, whispered.
But whispered.
Just our name must always be written in like size 6 font. Wherever it appears.
It's like, that's cool and all that you're on Coachella, but like we can't even see your name, dude. Yeah, well, a lot of bands.
Deal with it.
Dude, I didn't think we would have a chance, but we get to say one more time. If you live in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. Or if you don't, we got some people driving from out of state.
Yeah, shout out to y'all, man. We got people coming from Illinois and shit. There's still time to get your tickets for the 100th episode. Fucking party down.
Yeah.
Ice House on the 19th. If you're listening to this right when it comes out, you have about 36 hours to come fucking drink some beers with us and talk some weird stories and listen to our friends play music and DJ and bullshit with us. And we're going to celebrate the fact that, holy shit, we've been doing this for 100 fucking episodes, and that's pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Can we listen to some voicemails before we start this episode?
For sure.
Okay.
612-246-4614 if you want to call us and tell us something, anything, literally anything.
I haven't screened these as usual, so we're just going to jump in where the Google translation looks funniest. That's usually how I rank them.
One day this is going to bite us in the ass, but it hasn't so far because you guys have all been pretty cool about it. So thanks for being pretty cool about it.
All right, here we go.
What's up, you nerds? This is Shmooly.
Hey,
Shmool! And I also tried to microdose something, and it turned out to be a little bit more of a medium dose. But I have a fucking story that is probably not that interesting. But I'm going to tell you guys anyways.
We'll be the judge.
I might fuck with that 3 to 4 minute mark. We'll see.
Self-awareness is good.
I'm just going to tell the fucking story. So, flashback 1989 or some shit.
Shmooly, you old.
I mean, me and my brothers were sharing a bedroom at the time. It was the entire attic of our house. This is in Bemidji, Minnesota.
That sounds like a party.
And I'm sleeping, and I'm having a dream, and the dream turns into an out-of-body experience. So I'm like watching myself sleep from like above my bed, like at the peak of the attic or whatever. And I see a fucking medium tall gray standing over my bed, watching me sleep or whatever.
Poitras looks confused. Are you familiar with the alien canon?
The grays?
Like the short gray aliens?
Got it.
That's what he's referring to with the big heads and the slanty eyes.
No, okay, that makes sense, but I've just never heard them called the gray or a gray. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool, I'm with it.
And it reaches down with its long-ass, ET-ass finger and touches me on the chest. And the second that it touched me, I woke up screaming bloody murder. And that was it. And at the time, I don't think I'd ever seen any alien movies. Like, none of that shit. So when I first saw, like, Fire in the Sky or whatever the fuck alien movie I saw first, I tripped the fuck out because I was like, that's the motherfucker Because around Fire in the Sky, they were like little 3-footers or whatever, but like, it fucking touched the nerve where I was like, damn, that's the motherfucker that was standing over me.
Playing with my
in
chest.
my dream when I was fucking 8 or whatever. That shit was crazy.
Is it possible Shmuley was a pioneer in the microdosing movement?
As like a 4-year-old?
Yeah.
He said, yeah. Yes, that is in fact what I was insinuating. Yeah.
I would say yes, that is possible. I can't really evaluate how likely that is here, but yeah.
Also,
there was more to this voicemail, but just remind me to go back to it.
Okay, I also have a hard time with him being like, I'd never seen any alien movies, because when I was 4, I didn't remember shit about what I'd seen either. And also, he referred to it as long-ass ET-ass finger that touched me, and ET came out like 5 years before this happened.
30 years later, he referred to it that way. I'm assuming he's seen ET between then and now.
I'm just saying, maybe that's why an alien finger reached out and touched his chest, was because maybe he had some ET in his brain.
Hey,
maybe an alien visited you, Shmuel.
We're just exploring, a number of possibilities here. That's all. And one other question: is there a difference? Sorry for being less understanding of the movie,
not in the least,
of the canon.
By all means.
But with the whole, I heard him refer to a 3-footer in Fire in the Sky. So the Greys and 3-footers are different.
Well, specifically, the Fire in the Sky is a movie about...
I know Fire in the Sky.
Okay, yeah.
I just didn't know that they were called 3-footers.
Well, that's not necessarily a term, but in Fire in the Sky, there were short aliens and tall aliens.
Okay.
So he's saying, I think it looked like the short aliens from Fire in the Sky.
Yep.
Not the tall ones.
Okay. He looked like a baby.
Cool.
Fucking podcast, since you guys haven't had me on there yet. You keep using my cool-ass soundbite.
True. Fucking him. He grown now.
Another weird thing that happens to me all the fucking time is the most insignificant telekinesis of all time. Like, I'll be going to touch a button on the microwave, and before my finger gets there, the button gets pushed.
Sick.
You know what I'm saying? Or like, I'll think about pausing the TV, but I won't actually touch my Apple TV remote, and that shit'll pause. So tell me what the fuck that's about.
Bro, I like that he called it, did he say the most insignificant telekinesis?
Uh-huh.
I love that. I love the concept of a superhero who's like, hey, I can move shit, but only like really, really not important shit.
Or only if I can also get like an inch and a half away from it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Where at that point it would just be as if like energy efficient to just follow through and press the button.
I mean, my favorite part about this is that he tried to make y'all his Genius Bar appointment. Tell me what the fuck that shit is about.
Explain it to me.
Yeah. Like, y'all are the experts in the weird shit.
How did my Apple TV just pause? I didn't touch it.
The rest of that voicemail is Sam is mad that we haven't had him on the show yet, and he's going to see us tomorrow at the show.
All right, bet. We can remedy both of those things.
All right, here's another one.
I got to turn so I can see Poitras.
Oh, wait.
Like I keep reacting sideways because I can't see you.
We,
Uh-oh.
Well, I think
what happened?
I think we have one from, didn't we get one from our buddy Rob pretending to be Fred Durst?
I saw him tweet that he was going to do that. Did he actually do that?
Yeah, I think he. Oh, maybe this is it.
Oh God!
It's Fred Durst. I thought I'd call in. I said I would call in on Twitter. I know that you've been wondering what I've been doing and all, but I've been on the social medias. I got a presence out there. I did Pauly Shore's podcast. Oh, before I go any further, I should introduce my band. The Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water. So, yeah, just to give you guys an update, we're still out here. We're rolling. Yeah, we're rolling. So, if you're wondering what Fred Durst is doing, he's out here.
He's out here.
If you're wondering what Fred Durst is doing,
he's out here.
That's what he's doing. I'm literally never wondering that.
For those of you who that doesn't make as much sense to, patreon.com/whatifpodcast, we do 2 episodes of this show every week, and we were having a very in-depth conversation about Fred Durst on the Patreon last week, which is where I believe the inception of that voicemail comes from.
You want to hear one more?
Fucking sure.
Hey, y'all, this is Cam. It's Cam in SF. I tell you what, boys, I done went through your whole damn back catalog there over, I guess, of course, about a month now. And you know what? I actually got back from that trip over not too long ago. I was telling you I was going to Amsterdam. Well, anyways, I I wanted to hear my voicemail read, so you know what? I joined the Patreon. But I also joined the Patreon because I've been through about all your other episodes, and I just need more content because I live out here in San Francisco, and I'm an Uber driver, right? So, you know, it's kind of funny. I mean, I listen.
Anybody else hear the way he just said Uber? Because I think I need to hear that again.
Uber job.
Also, San Francisco is literally the last city I would have guessed that this dude is from.
Well, wait, he's definitely not from there.
Is this the dude that's putting on? Wasn't he like Isn't this the dude that tricked us and was like, I'm putting on the Southern accent to leave y'all voicemails, and then like.
If he is, he's doing a hell of a job.
He's doing a hell of a job.
Uber driver, right?
Uber.
So, you know, it's kind of funny. I mean, I listen to podcasts all day long, but I'm pretty much constantly switching from, you know, regular music playlists. And then, y'all, I bet 1 in every 25 passengers I have, I think that's just, it's only 1 in 25 that I kind of think would be cool enough to like handle the weird shit y'all are talking about.
Sick.
But I really kind of have to play it by ear, you know, you gotta, anyways, I don't know which one it was. There's a stinking.
I love the idea of this dude being like, "Hey man, where you going today? Airport? Okay, cool. Sounds good."
Michael Bolton.
How's your day? How's your day going? Pretty good. All right, cool. So anyway, you fuck with ghosts and aliens and shit.
Well, you also got to evaluate like the length of the trip, right? Because you can't put a podcast on for a 5-minute trip.
True.
That's just rude.
Yeah, but if you're going to the airport, you got time.
Right.
And also,
bro.
you got to go off of where they say they're going. Because, like, if homeboy says, like, yeah, I'm about to land in Albuquerque tonight, you're like, click play.
Yeah. You're going to dig this. I love the vetting.
You know, I had a long day. And I said, fuck it. I picked up a guy from the airport, and I'm going to leave this weird shit on there. And this motherfucker's from Nepal. And then he goes on and on talking about how his cousins and uncles and all them seen Yetis or Sasquatch or Bigfoot up there in the mountains. And I was like, well, goddamn, that's pretty cool. Anyways, you know, I want to apologize about, you know, the whole Dragon and Bagel thing. I'm not judging y'all. In fact, I think it's cute. I mean,
This is the dude that called us just to roast our Minnesotan accents.
Well, wasn't
or
he?
His girlfriend's Minnesotan accent.
Yeah, he was flaming his girlfriend because she's from Minnesota, like northern Minnesota.
Yeah, but also he thinks we're cute, I guess.
We think you're cute too.
I'm dating one of you Minnesotans now, and
one of you,
and I love me a good accent. It just shows the spice of life. But anyways, I just want to say, y'all, I never really listened to a podcast like more than like once or twice in my entire life. Y'all are literally the first podcast that I religiously and on a routine I listen to. And I really appreciate that. Also, I want to ask, where can I find some of your music and stuff you produce in there, Mr. Spence, or whatever y'all got? If I could get another SoundCloud, let me know. Also, I want to know 2 other things. What do you think about MERS? Do you like Atmosphere? And second, what do you think about Too Short?
Sick.
I know he might be a throwback, but I don't know how y'all over there feel in the Midwest about, you know, the hyphy, you know, the hyphy movement out here in the Bay. Anyway, this is Cam from SF. Y'all.
All right, Cam.
Can't find the end. Can't find the end of our voicemail timer. It's real.
Yo, I like that Google must be going through our other voicemails to try and figure out better transcriptions. Because when he said MERS and atmosphere, Google translated it to Mars-like atmosphere.
Sick.
Yes.
Sick.
Yes.
Sick.
MERS, I hope you heard that.
Yeah. They're probably like, based on the last fucking year and a half.
This
of
guy's
emails,
asking about outer space.
This is probably correct.
I fuck with MERS a lot.
I fuck with MERS.
And atmosphere.
I also fuck with MERS.
I also fuck with Too Short.
I definitely fuck with Too Short. And as long as we're on the subject, Mac Dre.
Yes.
Mac Dre in the Bay from back in the day.
E40.
Yeah, we like the Bay. And
Yo, I think our next record should be like a hyphy.
Hyphy Screamo.
Screamo hyphy.
Yo. Yeah, all 3 of those acts are great.
Who else was he asking about?
Atmosphere, MERS, and Too Short.
What was the other 2? He said they had 2 things he wanted to know.
Oh, yeah, what the fuck was the other one?
He said...
I got 2 questions, and I was like, 1.
He said, first, what do you think about MERS and atmosphere in them? And second, what do you think about Too Short?
Oh,
right.
okay.
Those were the
also,
two things.
let's not glaze over the probably most important question that he asked. the SoundCloud. We got to give all the SoundCloud links.
Oh, that's real.
I'll put in the description. Usually I link to the music that we're playing, but if you just look for Big Cats on Spotify or Apple Music or SoundCloud or any of the places that you listen to music.
Yeah, and if you just search my full name, you can find my shit on YouTube and SoundCloud and Bandcamp and all that shit.
And what's your full name again, just for new listeners?
Ryan Copperud, Kopperud.
Porches, where can we find your emo bands?
Yeah.
Are those Skies Alive records still on the internet?
It is.
Yeah.
It is skiesalive.bandcamp.com.
Yeah. There's still a video on my YouTube channel that I shot of you guys at Honey in like 2010.
Oh, God. Here for it. Going to find it.
Oh, man.
All right, we have to do one more shout out before we dive in today's episode, which is we are so every once in a while we will occasionally consume a beverage while we were recording. And now we have something extremely fucking dope to put our beverages on while we record. And that's thanks to first name
Bear, last name Bear.
Is it Bear or is it Nick?
Bear and his brother.
Brother Bear?
Yeah.
Brother Bear. Y'all remember the Bernstein Bears?
I remember Brother Bear. Brother Bear is a dope movie.
Brother Bear was a dope movie.
I used to work with kids who were the age where you want to watch the same movie over and over and over again. And I would always push for that to be Brother Bear because that was my shit.
All right, this is what we're doing. We'll avoid using governments and we'll say it's Bear and Brother Bear.
They made us coasters and
they
they're
made us
beautiful.
Fucking sick coasters that we're drinking our beverages off of. So thank you to Bear and thank you to Brother Bear for hooking us up with that dope. These What If coasters. They're on the Instagram, right?
Yes.
At What If Pod on Instagram, fucking Robot Grandma coasters and fucking Alive Was Born coasters. And we got one that says, "Morning, boys, Bear here," which is like my favorite fucking thing to hit our voicemail every time it hits our voicemail. So shout out to y'all. Appreciate the gift. That's very kind.
All right.
I just thought of something that I think is extremely relevant.
Talk to him.
Really quick, because I was earlier we talked a little bit about Shmuley and whether or not his memories were possibly accurate.
How high he was in 1989.
Well, right, that too. But I mean,
during that phone call.
I was only halfway joking about being high,
sure.
but also just the concept of possibly creating memories, having false memories.
Yeah.
Do you guys know about the Mandela effect?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did a full episode on the Mandela effect back in the day.
All right, well then we're not going to go down that road. But I thought it was funny that you mentioned the Bernstein Bears because they were a big part, or there was a Mandela effect that swept.
Right.
People around them.
That was the one that like brought it to the forefront a couple years ago.
Got
it was the Berenstain thing.
Yeah,
and everyone being like, "This is bullshit." Like seeing those images.
I still swear to God, it was EIN.
You were in on that?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I get it, man. BuzzFeed lit everybody's fucking childhood up.
Oh, I didn't even catch it on BuzzFeed.
I think that's the first version of it.
Were you just rereading the books or what?
No. If I knew where they were in my mom's storage closet.
Because that would actually be good evidence. You went back to like the same copies and they were different. That would be fucked up.
That would be fucked up.
Yo, text your mom. Hey, Mom, quick question. Can you run upstairs?
Spell the name of some books for me.
Yeah, just take pictures. Just take pictures.
All right. You want to get into the weirdness that was happening in New Mexico?
Okay.
And maybe still is happening in New Mexico?
We didn't name this because sometimes we don't name these before we actually do them. They're posthumously named.
What if the FBI closed your observatory?
What if the FBI closed your observatory or seized your observatory? Because it felt more like a seizure than a closing. But
I guess it's almost 2 weeks ago now, on September 6th. The National Solar Observatory in Sunspot, New Mexico, was abruptly closed. The FBI showed up, and there were military helicopters that were spotted above the observatory, and a nearby post office was also closed. And there was not much explanation given for why these two places were closed, other than a spokesperson for the Association of Universities for Research in Astronomy, who runs the observatory, said, quote, "We're addressing a security issue at this time. We have decided to vacate the facility as a precautionary measure. It was our decision to evacuate the facility, and we do not know when the facility will reopen." The FBI gave no statement, and local authorities were given no information by the FBI other than being told that it was not their jurisdiction.
Get the fuck out.
The quote from the sheriff, the county sheriff said, quote, "The FBI is refusing to tell us what's going on. We have people up there that requested us to stand by while they evacuate it. Nobody would really elaborate on any of the circumstances. The FBI were there. But for the FBI to get involved that quick and to be so secretive about it, there was a lot of stuff going on up there. There was a Black Hawk helicopter, a bunch of people around antennas and work crews on towers, but nobody would tell us anything." He also added, "They're not federal employees. Maybe it was somebody who threatened one of their workers. If that's the case, I don't know why they didn't call us and let us deal with it. I don't know why the FBI would get involved so quickly and not tell us anything."
Yeah, well, I can think of a million reasons, but
and we're going to talk about all of them.
So, like, that's basically the story. This observatory was closed abruptly. Nobody knows why. And then suddenly the FBI and perhaps the military were on the scene, and they were not conveying any information to anyone about why they were there, what they were doing, when they would reopen, any of that stuff.
You are on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple days later, people started going up to the observatory because you can just drive up to the front gate, and the only thing blocking anyone from going in was a strip of like caution tape. So people were just walking in. And I'll link to it, but there's like a 15 to 20 minute video of a guy who just walked in with a camera and filmed everything that he could film walking around, because the observatory is on like several acres of land, and there are other labs, and there are actually people that live on site. So they're like housing structures, and there's a laundromat and all sorts of facilities. Dude walked around for 20 minutes and did not see a single person. Saw a bunch of like government vehicles that were still parked there, but everything was empty. Most buildings were locked, but not all of them. Some buildings were just left unlocked.
So the entire FBI the team that was assigned to this was abducted, obviously. That's why the cars were empty.
Yeah.
There was no one to stop him from filming.
They had not locked their doors before they went up.
It did seem weird to me, though, that, okay, it makes sense to evacuate the employees, but then you don't secure the site.
Oh,
and then there's no one there doing anything?
Yeah, that's the weirdest part. If it was that sensitive, it wouldn't be so easy to walk in and take a 15-minute video.
Did we miss something?
Well, can we rewind to what you just said, which was it makes sense to evacuate the employees? Because I have a hard time wrapping my head around that one in the first place.
Okay, so
like,
that is basically the whole story.
Yeah,
we don't know what happened. People were evacuated. As of yesterday, it is now reopened.
Yes.
But there was no additional information given as to what happened.
Correct.
Why it was unsafe, why it is now safe again, what the, quote, security issue was that they were dealing with, who dealt with it, none of that. Just the FBI said, okay, it's fine. And people are back at work.
Really quick, what's the name of the observatory?
It's the Sunspot National Observatory. It's a solar observatory.
It's in Sunspot.
I guess that's
Mexico.
That's an important piece of information. They have a giant solar telescope on site.
I mean, it sucks because they're closed. I really just want to call them.
Well, they might be open.
Try it. Fuck it. Dude, there's no way they're answering phone calls.
They're an hour behind us,
They're probably getting lit up.
It's only 5:30 there. They might be open.
Put them on speaker, bruh.
Hello. It's the National Solar Observatory. If you know the person's extension number, dial the extension now. To dial a person by name, press pound. To leave a message, press star. For tourist information...
Yo, leave them a message and give them our number. Have them call us back. I think you were supposed to press star. Oh, what's their ringback tone? All right, we'll do this not on the air because you leaving a voicemail is not going to be very exciting. And I don't even know if is that what you're doing right now, or are you on hold?
Well, no, he's on hold. Somebody could answer this. Okay, so he's going to leave a voicemail.
Because they're all dead.
So anticlimactic.
Motherfuckers.
In case you didn't catch that, their voicemail is full. Okay.
Damn. I would sure love to have somebody on the show, though.
Yeah, if anyone who's listening lives in that area or has been out there, we would gladly take your phone calls.
Especially if your home is on the Sunspot Observatory grounds.
I think there are like 3 people that live there, but absolutely, we would talk to one of the 3 of you.
Or if you're adjacent, I'm curious.
Yes.
Or if you work for the FBI and you were the one that closed the place.
Also, if you work for the FBI, don't call us. That's fine. We're okay.
That's true. That's true. We keep a healthy distance from each other. Everything's fine.
But just you reminded me of something. The observatory is basically surrounded by military installations. So they're like 20 miles to the west of White Sands in New Mexico, and then there's another, I don't remember the name, but there's another observatory another installation like 10 miles north of them. So on at least 2 or 3 sides, they're bordered by military installations.
Is that strategic for some reason? What's it about that site?
It's isolated, probably, is the main thing.
Okay.
But that is also a question I had was like, what's the, is there a particular reason that this location is more optimal for sun viewing or sky viewing?
It's
is
like
it just the remoteness?
It's sunny in the desert, right?
Don't get that shit out of here.
I don't know.
I mean, there actually probably is something legit to that.
I don't know why.
Cloudless days and shit.
I think it's probably coincidental that they're located near military bases, but I don't actually know.
No, what I meant was I was kind of thinking the other way around. Like I was wondering, I don't know which came first, chicken, egg, or whatever. But it would be interesting if maybe this area was known for strange activity in the sky. Yeah. So then it got an observatory, and then the military was like, "Oh,
protect that shit."
Wouldn't a solar observatory not be location specific though, or location dependent?
Because
I don't know anything about astronomy, but I would think that you could do that from almost anywhere.
Is that all it does? I mean, I know it says it's a solar observatory, but I mean, is it nonstop sun focused all the time?
I think they only have one telescope.
But sometimes they can't point it at the sun. So what happens when they can't point it at the sun?
You mean like at night?
Yes, correct. That was what I was inferring.
I don't know.
Do you think it's possible that they could see things at night that they're not supposed to see with their we can see the sun?
Like the aliens?
Well.
Also, it's not that hard to see the sun. You can see it all the time.
No, you can't see it all the time.
Well, I mean, somebody can.
I dare you.
You gotta run real fast, but somebody is always looking at the sun.
Yeah, no, for sure. It is viewable somewhere on the planet at all times.
All right, let's start recklessly speculating.
Wait. Before we get into reckless speculation, even though I'm really excited about that portion of things. I have a 10-point
bullet list called reckless speculation.
I understand. We've got time. I wanted to get back to, you said a sentence that I would like to challenge, which is, I mean, it makes sense to evacuate the people. Now, this can maybe lead us into our reckless speculation, but at what point would an evacuation of a solar observatory ever make sense?
Well, I mean, look, like if you're the FBI, if you have had any cause to show up anywhere aside from an FBI headquarters, then your first responsibility is to secure the site.
Sure.
Correct?
I'm sure probably,
I would assume so.
yes.
Also, they did a shit job if this guy on YouTube can just walk on there. But
yeah, you really screwed this up. But
they could have also made away with whatever it was that needed to be removed from the location at that point.
When I said it makes sense, I meant I could envision a scenario in which it would make sense to evacuate people from a site.
Okay.
For instance, the telescope is housed in like many gallons of liquid mercury.
Whoa, is that a real thing?
Yeah.
Damn.
So if something happened there, you would want to get people as far away from that as possible.
Let's go do shots.
It's also, Christ, there are easier ways to kill yourself, bro. God damn.
I'm saying we might levitate first though, dude. Maybe I turn into Magneto or something cool like that.
I guess. I don't know why then you would call the FBI in that circumstance. Or,
does anyone call the FBI or do they just show up?
You want to try?
No.
Yeah, that's a number we're definitely not dialing.
No.
My only understanding of how the FBI works is from X-Files. So I don't.
All right.
In that case, they rarely got calls. Mulder just like decided they were going places.
One of the phrases right before we get into reckless speculation. One of the phrases that I liked was from the Observatory's Facebook page, where they stated that they were, quote, cooperating with an ongoing law enforcement investigation of criminal activity that occurred at Sacramento Peak.
Wait, who made that statement?
The Observatory did on their Facebook page.
Oh.
At Sacramento Peak?
Is that where they're located?
The actual observatory is in Sunspot, New Mexico, at the top of Sacramento Peak, which I imagine elevation is a helpful part of having a telescope. Just
Less
anything you can get
atmospheric
out of it, the better.
Yeah.
But it's some mountainous peak in New Mexico.
Got it.
So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting phraseology.
I mean, yeah, but that could be a number of things. That could be misdirection. That could be like, hey, the FBI told us to say this. Or they could be categorizing an alien invasion as criminal activity.
For sure. Or
That's a great point. They wouldn't have had permission to be there.
Who's that?
The aliens.
So that would make them trespassers, which would mean that the
Perhaps
aliens are
breaking and entering.
criminals.
Criminals. Lock them up.
E.T. in Shmuley's house was definitely breaking and entering.
Yeah,
Facts.
100%.
And possibly like assaulting.
Yes, the touching was a no-go.
Yeah, it's no go.
Right. I don't think he had consent.
Especially
No
with
consent.
children. You can't touch 4-year-olds.
That's fucked up. No, not cool. Not
Okay.
cool. E.T. Chill on that shit.
Number 1. We're just going down the list.
Okay, let's bang through it. I'm ready.
Whoever said the thing about my amount of prep versus number of buttons I push, I prepped the fuck out of this episode, and it's why you haven't heard any sound effects for half an hour. I'm sorry.
Because Spencer's fucking in it, man. I should be sitting over there banging on those buttons. All right, go ahead.
Fuck with me, I'm grown now.
There we go. What
A
up, Shmuel?
disgruntled employee was planning to do something terrible and or illegal.
Nah?
Those are two very different reactions.
Yeah,
I love it.
We did
Let's
have
go. I want to
opposing
hear
reactions.
both. I want to hear both.
Debate. No,
Like
go
a
ahead.
full-on gratis nope?
Okay, my nope is if that had been the case, wouldn't they have been like wouldn't it just become public record really quickly that ex-employee no longer showed up for work, was arrested by local police, had a stockpile of weapons?
What if they didn't know where he was? He or she was.
But they wouldn't have reopened the observatory this week if they didn't know where that person was.
Okay, maybe, but listen, Ryan, you're automatically assuming that the illegal activity this hypothetical disgruntled employee was engaging in was only on a state level. Like, for example, when in New York, there was a building right across the street from where I worked, and then there was a disgruntled employee. He showed up with a gun to attack like a former boss, and he didn't actually... As I understand it, he didn't hurt anybody. Local police came. He was shot and killed on site as he was running away. And that's all very obvious. It's like a state level crime. He's invading a premise he's not welcome at. He's attempting to assault somebody. At an observatory, there's probably sensitive information. There's probably records. True. There's probably ways for him to violate a federal law, which could then trip interest from the FBI, and they are not going to make that public.
Okay, to support Poitras's point,
yes,
they also shut down the nearby post office. Doing anything through the mail is a very quick route to committing a federal crime.
Yes.
True. Also true.
Just saying.
Like if you...
As in somebody mailed something shitty to the observatory through the local post office...
Yeah, or I don't know.
Yes, I guess the only reason I'm hitting it with it doesn't really ring true for me is just because I feel like every time one of those hits the news, we know who that person is usually quickly. It doesn't get resolved silently, and then they're just like, we reopened, everything's fine, guys. Care about your business.
I completely agree with you.
That's the only reason.
I completely agree with you, but that's because normally in these scenarios, like I said, the crime being committed is some dumb idiot bullshit. Like I'm mad at my boss, I'm gonna shoot him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you actually were on some McVeigh level of thinking and you really wanted to cause some serious damage, then we're not going to find out about you for a long time.
That's fair. That's a good point.
Slight variation on this, which is actually number 4 on my list. So we're getting 2 for 1 here.
Are we jumping or are we going to go?
We tied them together through our conversation, so I'm going for it.
All right.
Point 4 was someone could have mailed something dangerous to the observatory that would have also then passed through the post office. So as part of the investigation into what it was, where it came from, etc., you would have had to temporarily close both locations and also make sure that there was not, for instance, if somebody mailed anthrax to the observatory, it would have also passed through the post office. You'd have to close both for safety reasons and to conduct an investigation.
Yeah.
One question though, if that was the chain of events, wouldn't it first fall in the jurisdiction of a postal investigator? I'm almost positive it would.
What if it was first discovered at the observatory rather than at the post office?
And now it's FBI.
Interesting.
Probably having to cooperate with the postal investigators. Okay.
Maybe. This is called reckless speculation.
Yes,
so
yes,
we have no answers here.
Yes, but I love that we're doing reckless speculation, and I love how much speculating we've done over the first 2 of 10 options here. One more question about this. If you intercepted something at the post office, is it logical to actually shut down the observatory? Do you do that as a precaution in case like someone goes there?
I'm saying, what if it actually got delivered?
Oh, so they shut down, you're saying they shut down the post office to figure out like how it came in and went out.
And if anyone at the post office, depending on what substance or object or whatever it was, if anything at the post office was also contaminated, or if there was a second package, or if someone at the post office knew about this or whatever.
Again, like devil's advocate here, I'm just like trying to play all sides. I feel like enough people got interviewed from the observatory who said something to the effect of like, it was super abrupt. We were given no information. We had no idea. And we were not allowed to come to work.
I didn't find that.
Let me pull
All
it
I
up.
could find was the one statement from the person who wasn't even on site. It was the director of the group that manages the observatory and other ones.
I have like 5 of these articles up. Okay, go to number 2 and I'll find
Number 2 is they observed something happening with the sun on like a solar flare, solar weather level, and we're fucked. In support of this, last week there were 6 other observatories or solar live stream cameras that were shut down or offline at the same time.
So this is a wider issue.
Possibly.
How much time do we have to finish the Screamo Trap record?
as much as we want, bro.
We might need to shut this episode down.
I mean, if the sun's really gunning for us, you know,
we better get going.
So, well, that's my main issue with this point of speculation is how long would it take between something being observed on the sun and it actually affecting us? Because we're pushing 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
If you saw a solar flare that was going to have a huge electromagnetic effect on the Earth,
but it
doesn't take 2 weeks for that to get here from the sun.
It's also not exclusively observable by this one solar observatory in New Mexico.
But 6 other ones were also shut down.
Wait, what? When did I miss this?
You were looking for the articles.
Googling things.
That was like 2 seconds ago.
We talked about
I
it.
was right here.
I know.
I mean, I'm looking at this article, but I was right here.
Last week, 6 other observatories or live stream cameras got shut down at the same time.
What? That changes everything.
It does change everything. But now this raises a new question. And like one of the things I kind of am starting to hate about reckless speculation is how much, well, it's actually how much I'm realizing I don't understand about the relationships between different levels of law enforcement. But what I'm wondering now is like if there's actually something terrible going on with the sun and we're all going to burn to death Terminator 2 style, Judgment Day, whatever, then why the fuck is the FBI shutting down an observatory?
Right.
Wouldn't this be an issue for NASA? Is the FBI all of a sudden like the foot soldier department for NASA?
Also, if that were going to happen, there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Yeah, the FBI just shows up and goes, stop, wait, never mind, we're out of here.
Right.
Like even if the entire world were to go into a state of mass panic and like we all fucking kill each other before we get wiped out, like
FBI ain't doing shit about that.
Yeah, like that doesn't help anything.
Okay.
They want us to all die peacefully.
I think this one is mostly nonsense, but I wanted to just run it past you guys.
We are being as reckless.
It would have happened by now, and shutting down the observatories wouldn't make any sense because there wouldn't be anything you could do about it. So I think we can write that one off. Number 3, the observatory overlooks Holloman Air Force Base and is 20 miles east of White Sands Missile Range. Something is happening at one of those. The speculation is something is happening at one of those Air Force bases that the civilians that work at the post office and the observatory are not allowed to see.
Sure, but then you would also be pulling people out of their private homes 100%. There's no way that you would only go for those facilities and then leave everyone else to like witness it.
What if it's something that would only be visible from the vantage point of being on top of this peak?
Where those 3 homes are? You just told us 3 homes are on the observed, but those people weren't evacuated.
They were.
Oh, the residents were evacuated too?
Correct.
I missed that part. All right.
Yep.
Okay, it's possible. But now that makes me wonder, like, what? Are you, like, testing a stealth aircraft? Or, like, what do you know, like, what would that look like?
Oh, that's an interesting theory.
Ryan, keep up, bro.
What?
I just said, is something happening at the military base that they didn't want people to witness?
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, saying that it's legit a stealth aircraft. I mean, I guess that could have been like a detonation or whatever.
Got it.
I was just thinking, like, that would be a good way to get open skies.
I just saw you looking at your computer again. I got nervous.
Well, okay. I have my I have the quote that I was looking for.
Okay.
So James McAteer is a professor at New Mexico State University, and he's the director of the Sunspot Solar Observatory Consortium. And he said, I'm going to do some paraphrasing throughout this. This is in the Washington Post article from a couple days ago. He says, the sheriff's office saw no evidence of a threat, and deputies left after a few hours. McAteer said his consortium assigns 4 researchers to the facility, although the Association of Universities for Research in Astronomy, another consortium, manages the building and other infrastructure with an additional 4 or 5 people. That consortium, McAteer said, had ordered the site vacated, providing no other reason than a, quote, security issue. He said the researchers did not spot anything in the sun to necessitate them leaving, nor were they aware of any scientific reason, such as an anomaly in the data that they were collecting for doing so.
Why would that be a reason to evacuate, though? I don't understand that angle. Our data's weird. Everybody go home.
Well, I can see there, like, you know, depending on what it is, that data could be evidence of a lot of the crazy shit we're talking about, right? Like, fucking crazy atmospheric changes or solar flares.
What is evacuating? How does that address that at all?
I don't think it addresses anything like directly, but tangentially, it clears the space for people to go in and scoop or download or collect or delete or whatever, like get access to that shit and then be like, carry on with your fucking day-to-day.
Go back to work a week later.
Yeah, go back to work. I mean, we have everything we need that has removed the existence of that anomaly from your work and from, you know, whatever.
At first glance, this idea makes way more sense than something going on at the military base, because you kick people out of a small room. If you're trying to keep them from looking at something in the sky, well, you just fucked up, because all they're going to do is leave that small room and still look at the sky. Yeah. Like, right. that only makes sense if you like blindfold them and leave them in a room, which sounds like something the FBI shouldn't do. I don't know.
But also it totally does.
I'm sure it's part of their jobs in some days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I add another layer to the military base option?
Fuck yeah, you can. This is your podcast, bud.
Thanks.
And yours and mine. It's our podcast.
It's everyone's. I don't remember which point this was on my list, but it's one of them.
7.
Someone may have been spying using the observatory as a vantage point to spy on one or both of the nearby military bases.
Ooh, like some Sterling Archer shit.
Yeah.
So they have an especially high vantage point.
9,000 feet.
They also have telescopes and radio communications towers that reach even higher above that, where one could hypothetically install viewing and or listening devices pointed at one or multiple military bases.
You got them all!
This fits with 2 parts of what was reported. One being that there were crews working on the towers and climbing up the towers when people were evacuated.
Oh, word. I didn't see that.
2 being if someone was going to be sending that data or those recordings elsewhere, if this was, for instance, an international spying situation.
Yep.
The best way to get that stuff off site may be to physically mail something. and not worry about trying to send communications from a whatever government-owned machine.
As in you've been.
You're just gonna pull the SD card out and mail it to somebody.
Mail it.
I don't know. That sounds like world's dumbest criminal shit. Like if you're gonna be sophisticated enough to get that information in the first place, it seems like you would be smart enough to not then use the federal mail service to transport it.
But what if you're doing it in a really I drop this off at a mailbox, or I pay someone to drop this off at a mailbox 10 miles away from my house. I
bet you could mail 1 million SD cards before anyone would ever look at what's on one of them.
I would agree, except for in the scenario. Well, except for in the scenario that you've already tripped the interest of the authorities.
But then you're fucked anyway, aren't you?
I guess so.
Maybe the idea was...
It really depends on how sensitive the information is. And maybe I watch too many goddamn movies, but I'm thinking if there's something very, very sensitive, worth stealing from a federal facility...
Filming a missile test, for instance?
Yeah, if it's that serious and you are an international spy, you know what I mean? We're talking about... It's like these guys... They do shit like you see in movies, legitimately, where it's like, I just fucking swabbed a nerve agent onto a doorknob to make sure that my enemy is dead, like Putin style, right? And now all of a sudden this guy just takes a cab to the USPS and drops it into a priority envelope? That just seems really dumb.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't know.
I see what you're saying. I also I think there's other ways to send things through post offices that are a little less...
If it was that serious, I feel like you would get scooped by I don't know, a fucking helicopter or something, and you'd be out of there. Yeah. Or something more interesting than...
You mean like the Black Hawk helicopter that showed up the day that they shut the place down?
Ooh. See, now we're talking.
That did happen. Did happen. The thing that I like about this iteration of this recklessness that we are engaging in right now is I think there's something to be said for if you put some sort of recording device on a 9,000-foot observatory building, they're for sure shutting down every observatory in the vicinity and checking all of them for similar recording devices. That's the first thing you do is you go, oh, somebody said, what's that thing blinking up there? It's not supposed to be up there. You go get it. You're like, oh, why is there a camera up here? And then they go, oh, we're shutting down all the observatories in the area and we're checking all of them.
Well, okay, first you're assuming the other observatories were nearby. One.
They were not.
They were not?
No.
They were other observatories, but they were not proximal. And second...
Several of them were not even in the U.S.
Second, I'm just challenging your hypothetical situation, but if you're going to fucking plant a secret recording device in a place like that, it better not blink.
For sure. Yeah,
Jesus Christ, it better not blink.
Yes.
That's a great point.
Yes. Yes.
Just a GoPro with the red light blinking on the back the whole time. They need to find an outlet in the park. They got an extension cord running down the side of the observatory.
It's like a fucking billboard that says, we're spying on you.
It just beeps.
I do remember when Bill came in that one day and asked if anybody had an extra charger. Is that
for
important?
A GoPro.
Just mini USB, right? Those are everywhere.
What do you need it for, Bill? Nothing.
Also, do you have a 400-foot extension cord?
Bill, are you doing something? Are you doing something weird? No. Sorry.
He apologizes.
That's
all right. You want to get really weird?
Yeah.
I mean, how far have we gone?
We've exhausted the terrestrial options on the list.
How far on the spectrum of no weird to all weird have we gone so far?
Halfway.
We're at a 5?
Yeah.
Let's crank this motherfucker up. Let's crank this motherfucker up.
I mean, I just took my shirt off, so.
Sick. Well, Poitras is hanging out half nudie in the studio.
It gets hot in the studio when you got 3 dudes in gear and you close the windows. Sorry.
It's true. And we're drinking and we're excited about aliens. So let's fucking do this.
All right. Option number 7 on our list is...
I was wrong about my previous suggestion.
Yeah, sorry. It was 10, by the way.
Okay. Cool,
I didn't put these in any sort of logical order. It was just as I found them.
That's fine.
We found the binary pair to our sun.
I'm going to need more context because I'm an idiot and I don't actually understand what that means.
Binary star systems exist in which instead of having one star and things orbiting it, you have 2 stars and things orbiting it. Like Tatooine on Star Wars. Have you seen Star Wars?
Fuck. Yes, I've seen
they got
Dude, I love
two-
tattoos.
all of those Star Wars movies.
tattoos.
All of those Star Wars movies. He is tattooed and nude in the stewed. It's pointless.
It's possible to have a binary star system where it's not two stars right next to each other and everything orbiting it. It's like two stars far away from each other that are gravitationally linked and would only cross paths with each other every so often.
Okay. But you think that you're proposing that we just discovered the other one.
Correct.
Okay, but now, sorry if I'm too dense to put this together on my own, but why is the FBI curious or interested in this?
Well, it would, in this scenario, it'd be something along the lines of what Ryan was saying earlier with coming in, collecting data, trying to minimize other people's exposure to this data until they can sort it out, figure out what it means, deliver it to the public in a more digestible way than Bill from the observatory telling his friends that there are two suns.
Hey,
Okay, but
Dave,
this-
are you sitting down right now? Yeah, well, I just cracked a beer, man, and I got to tell you, I think we're fucked.
This just brings me back to the original, I hate how much I don't understand about the relationship between governmental units. Why is the FBI doing NASA's work?
I think
is it
you're-
NASA
Right.
doesn't have enough funding, or they're busy right now?
That is
No.
a great question in this one. Like in this scenario, there is no real reason for the FBI to be there.
Right.
See,
agree.
I don't think that's true though, because think about all the things that the federal government has had involvement in, like programs that we've talked about on this show many, many times that are like tangentially related to other federal departments like the CIA and like NASA and like your assessment of like what are they kind of the foot soldiers for other federal departments? I'm like, maybe, because like NASA
FBI
doesn't have the authority to walk into an observatory in any random state and say
And close it.
get the fuck out of here right now. FBI agents with badges and fucking guns on their hips for sure do, and they're going to do it way more effectively than any other federal organization. And you're not going to send the military in because that's fucking crazy. Like you send the fucking National Guard and
Although
shut
they
down
apparently
observatories.
Did.
Well, with the helicopter, yes, but I'm saying you're not sending like fucking dudes in camo with M16s and like boots on the ground type shit.
It's also a
that's going
thin
to be
line
way
between-
more intense.
Thin line between police and military these days, but
I mean, that's real. But
Like,
even the sheriffs in these articles are talking about like FBI didn't tell us shit. They wouldn't tell us shit. We're just fucking
But-
hanging out. Like,
the FBI is essentially federal cops, right?
yeah, federal law enforcement. Yeah, for sure.
They're just cops that can do more.
Yes.
But isn't the main difference that their jurisdiction is federal crimes?
Yeah.
So wouldn't something in this situation, if something was observed that needed to be secret and you needed to limit people's exposure to it, you needed to remove people from their workplace, whatever, their homes, their post office, why wouldn't that be the local law enforcement versus federal?
Because it's a matter of national security or has a broader impact than just the state.
And we don't have like international space cops yet, as much as
And we don't have
Trump
that.
wants us to.
Plus, I think there's probably something to be said for just general clearances. I'm sure that security clearances in sheriff's offices in fucking New Mexico are minimal,
Non-existent.
if existing at all. Whereas security clearances for FBI agents are probably way the fuck up there. So if there's any sort of national security issue going on, for sure FBI is capable of dealing with it, and they would cut the sheriffs out completely.
So you could swap any like major space discovery for binary pair sun in this scenario.
I would say probably, yeah.
But then we're also back to why wouldn't hundreds of other observatories be seeing the same thing? Why is this something that would only be visible from New Mexico?
The unique vantage point?
Or only relevant to the 6 additional or total that got shut down? That
Are they like observing in a spectrum that other observatories aren't or something? You know, like that's, I guess, just information that we won't have. But
Yeah.
But that's a good question.
are they taking, is there data that's only being taken at certain types of observatories and those were the ones that were shut down? Or
I mean, I think that's a really good question. If they were reading at a certain level,
The only thing is, like, I just don't trust the organizational skills system, whatever. I don't believe that there's like some list somewhere that's like, hey, FBI, we know of 6 observatories that uniquely collect this very type of data. And so now you have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I highly doubt that they track that shit.
Well, and then
if there were something that happened though, related to that specific reader and it set off a red flag somewhere, they, I think, would be uniquely capable of figuring that list out pretty fucking quickly. Even if they don't track it, they would be like, set 16 research
who can
analysts.
Access this? Yeah.
Right. Set 16 research analysts in the New York office on this, and we'll have a list for you in 45 minutes.
Yeah. All right.
To pull this full circle for a second, perhaps the binary paired to our sun is a black hole rather than a star.
We're going in.
And there are only certain observatories that are able to observe signatures of a black hole versus like visible light spectrum stuff.
Yeah, had a real good day looking at the sun. Real bad night. We found a black hole, guys. It's really close. Wait, we're fucked.
Are you implying that black holes are only visible at night?
No, I'm just saying when the sun went away and they stopped looking at it, they saw something that they weren't normally trying to look at.
So like Steve, the overnight guy, whenever the sun is gone, just points the telescope at random places and looks for black holes.
Dude, that dude is ripping down bowls and like eating Reese's Puffs in a bowl, sitting in like what I'm sure is a super leisurely chair, you know, like one of those sort of like 45-degree ones where you're kind of kind of looking up.
The gaming chairs.
Yeah, and he's just like munching and like squinting one eye, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh fuck, oh fuck."
And he called his supervisor, and they're like, "Yeah, Steve, great. You should call the FBI and tell them about the black hole you found."
Steve threw a mouthful of Reese's piece of cereal. Just goes, "Someone call someone."
Steve and Dave are my favorite guys.
It's pretty much what we use for literally anyone who isn't like us on the show. It's Steve or Dave.
We have 3 more.
All right, let's fucking do it.
And we're about at time, so I'll rip through them.
No, it's fine. Hey, guys, we're almost to our 100th episode. We're going to give you a little...
Is today 99?
Today's 99.
Oh, shit.
99 episodes.
99 episodes of the What If podcast on your feed. 99.
We mentioned this earlier, but the observatory... I'm just cutting you off.
That's fair.
The observatory rotates on a bearing suspended in 120 gallons of liquid mercury.
It's too many.
So potentially there was a leak of liquid mercury. Excuse me. And or someone was attempting to procure some liquid mercury for nefarious nefarious purposes.
That makes more sense because I think a casual leak would probably be treated more along the lines of like natural disaster type of things, like, where you would
and
send
then you would
in
have to seal off that area.
Yeah,
big time.
Yeah, but would you use the FBI to do it?
No.
Unless
and also
it was
a couple days later, dude was able to walk right up to the observatory and touch it, and there was nothing.
That doesn't make sense.
Right.
It makes more sense that kind of this is almost like a combination of theories. Like you've got the disgruntled employee type of scenario, and he is like, you know what, fuck y'all. I hope you die of mercury poisoning.
Yeah.
Now we're talking FBI,
and I'm taking a 5-gallon Home Depot bucket of it with me.
Yeah.
Or
because I also want to die.
Or he could be the dude who's like, I know exactly what the thinnest location of this vessel is, and we got a credible tip from someone who said, you know, this dude's buying fucking concrete drilling bits and like whatever.
He showed up with a list of like ingredients, and it was everything to make napalm, which is just styrofoam and gasoline, but still.
It's a 2-item list, but he had both of them on there.
It's a short list, but a list nonetheless. But yeah, I mean, I can see that being like a version of it, like to your point, disgruntled employee, someone who has access to the facility, creating some sort of like borderline terroristic like event.
Yeah.
Terroristic, is that a word?
And we knew what you meant.
Tight.
It's a word.
Shout out to my English major.
I guess that's why we knew what you meant, because it is a word.
Thank you. Questioning my personal idiocy is a weekly occasion.
Isn't it funny how idiocy and literacy rhyme?
Damn.
You must write songs, bro.
About to get back to this Trap Screamo record one time.
Air horn.
But yeah, I can see that being, man, we got to wait. We used to do Brandon's air horn yell.
Oh, yeah.
We got to get back to that.
You're right.
For those of y'all who are joining us newly on the show, the homie Brandon used to screamed air horn into a microphone one time, and we used to use that as our air horn sound. It was him going,
It's true.
air horn, air horn. But yeah, anyway, I can see there being a threat against that place because of that volume of mercury, because that would be a dangerous, disastrous, like kind of fucked up thing to fuck with.
Yeah.
Whereas like you couldn't really do like, you're not
Yeah,
gonna.
because like how many places, I don't know, maybe there's a lot of places, but how many places in the country just house 5 gallons of liquid mercury?
They had 120.
Oh, sorry. Well, I was still thinking about
The
the
guy with the
from
bucket was
Home
taking
Depot.
5, yeah.
Right, he's
They
only gonna
still
take
would have had
5.
115 left.
Of course.
That's
Right.
real.
At least he was going to leave him with something. But yeah, no, that alone makes it a sensitive thing, right?
Yeah,
That can't be that common, I wouldn't think.
Because like if you're an angry weirdo and you're like, oh, where could I spill 120 gallons of mercury? And you're like, well, there's only a couple places.
Right.
This observatory.
Or if
It's
you
not my
did
target.
want to procure it for some reason and you were emailing with a buddy about how to procure some fucking liquid mercury.
Or if
you
you
know.
showed up to work one day with the back of your truck lined with a tarp.
And a shop vac.
Tarp.
And a
Tarp and a shop vac.
All right, last one.
All right.
And it's by far the craziest.
Well, let's fucking go, bud.
Remember about a year ago when we were talking about the
No.
the long cylindrical shaped asteroid that came from outside of our solar system?
Fuck yeah, I do. I love that
That people were
asteroid.
trying to figure out if it was an extraterrestrial probe because
Yeah.
it was the first observed object to come from outside of our solar
They were
system.
bouncing waves off it trying to see what it would say back.
You probably didn't hear about this.
I didn't.
Okay, so for the first time, I think ever, an object was observed entering our solar system from outside of our solar system. So usually any asteroids or things that we encounter are orbiting our sun.
Yes.
This was something that was somehow crossing the path of our solar system, but had come from outside of it. And so that was unique.
And it never got sucked into an orbit?
Right.
That's
It was moving fast enough to just pass through.
Crazy.
And that
And-
was one of the biggest parts of it,
Which
was that it was
makes
not
it-
going to burn up. It was going to come through and exit at the same.
And also for it to be moving at that type of velocity, it's a projectile at that point.
Yes.
It's not like something falling, it's shooting.
right. And us
Okay.
to be able to find it and track it was like a big part of why that was.
Okay.
The second part of why it was unusual is that it was a very like thin, elongated shape. It was like, I don't remember the dimensions, but it was like pencil shaped,
like
basically.
If
Like
my
a
memory,
missile.
If my memory serves, it was something like 7 meters wide. And
No, it was way bigger than that.
I
Your
think
memory doesn't serve.
I think it was 7 meters wide and like 150 meters long or something like that.
Whatever it was, anything moving through space at high speeds for millions of years gets rounded off.
And this had hard edges.
Yeah.
It was like 10 times or like 20 times as long as it was wide.
You think of like any asteroid or even any rock you see, it's very rare that you would see something long and thin and really old because the edges are going to get knocked off. It's
Right.
going to collide with something else. It's going to attract other things over millions of years.
Look at our planets.
So there was a hypothesis that this might actually be a probe or an artificial object of some kind because it was from outside of our solar system and it was this really unusual shape. The follow-up to this is that maybe it was part of a probe, and if you were approaching a destination, this is where we get into the straight-up alien speculation.
Here for it. Let's go. I know you are too, motherfuckers.
If you're traveling long distances,
Yes.
at the beginning of your journey, you're going to start out kind of slow,
Okay.
right? Because you have to reach your top speed.
Yes.
In the middle of your journey, you're going to be at your top speed.
Yes.
And then as you're approaching your destination, you have to slow down again, right?
Okay.
Otherwise, you're just going to go flying past it.
Sure.
Some people on the internet were hypothesizing that the thing that passed through last year was part of a probe. And that as it was approaching our solar system, separated from a second part so that that second part could slow down as the main part passed through. So it was essentially delivering like a capsule or something smaller to our solar system.
Like we do when we send anything into space, which is attach it to a big ass rocket, break the big ass rocket off once the capsule gets up there,
Correct.
and it needs to be more nimble than that.
Correct. Except this thing came from like millions of times farther away.
Sick. Into it. Let's do it.
And the observatory in New Mexico observed the second component of this artificial probe that passed through last year and confirmed that aliens are visiting us.
Wait, get the fuck out. What?
I mean, obviously this is bullshit, but we're at 10 out of 10 on the bullshit scale.
But okay, so I like this because it's fun, but the reason that I don't like this is because this goes back to my original question about there are observatories all over the world who are pointed up at all times. Why 6?
Well, if something is actually moving through the sky and relatively quickly, you would not be able to, it would be total coincidence to observe it, right? It wouldn't be something you'd be looking for or expecting or able to fix on.
I suppose.
You wouldn't be able to predict where it was going to be in the sky at any given time because you didn't know it existed. And these observatories were all over the world, and it was only 6. If there were something observed, it would either be all of them, you would think, or one that was looking at a specific region.
Right.
6 seems within the range of this could maybe just happen by chance.
Right.
Also, I don't think I buy this at all.
No, I mean, it's fun. It's
but
a fun version of this.
It did lead me to thinking about what would happen if there was actual confirmation or we're 99% sure this is confirmation of something extraterrestrial at a legitimate site. This was documented at an observatory run by people who know what they're doing. They have all the data to back it up. They can prove that this is what we just saw. What happens in that scenario?
And to your point, and to your question, Poitras, from earlier about are they foot soldiers for federal organizations? I kind of feel like this is exactly what they would do. They would go
get
in,
everybody out of there.
They would shut it down. They would evacuate the employees.
Yeah.
They would take all the data and the recordings and the information. They would delete any record of it ever being there over the course of 10 to 15 days with data analysts and data scientists and computer scientists and all that shit. They would take it to the CIA and the FBI and NASA and all that shit, centralize it in one location and be like, back to work, dickheads. We got what we need. And
we'll figure out what, if anything, we want to do with it.
This theory's too micro for me because for a second I caught myself, I was stuck in the weeds. I was thinking more about the second projectile and what was inside the original capsule and all this other shit. And then I was like, yeah, exactly. And then I was like, wait. You got to get back up to the macro. Put yourself back in the bigger picture. This doesn't have to be that in particular. It could just be any alien related or terrestrial. Right. Yeah. And so in that case, yeah, I mean, I'm with Ryan where it's yeah, they probably would just be yo,
this is ours now.
Yeah, someone much smarter and more sophisticated than assholes who wear sunglasses and suits and have phone cords in their ears or whatever. They would just go, "Hey, dickhead in the suit and the glasses, go get this information."
Right.
Secure, report back, and don't ask any questions.
Right. I'm devil's advocating my earlier take. I think that is what could or would happen if that was what was observed. Mm-hmm. But my devil's advocate side of me also says there's no way that in all of those observatories that someone who works there who hasn't been hoping and planning and scheming and wishing their entire lives to witness something
exactly that
like this got out of that situation without being holy shit, guys, you're never going to believe what we saw. They didn't
Steve and Dave.
They
both worked there.
Steve and Dave both worked there, and they saw that
they're too dumb,
shit?
though. They just called each other.
Yeah, that's true.
And now they're both dead because of the FBI. But do you know what I mean? For the whole...
That would leak somehow.
For the helicopters and the FBI swoop in and the shutdowns to come in, the motherfuckers who work there and are sitting in the fucking chair every day looking at the fucking sky are going to be the first ones to go, guys, this is pretty weird.
But do you think that in that scenario that the FBI would need to be dispatched, do you think that they would show up and go, by the way, we were never here and we know where you live?
Yeah, would you like to disappear and your family disappear?
I mean, that's real, but I also feel I don't know, I just feel with all of those, with 6 observatories, I think the one in New Mexico, they said they had 20 regular employees.
I think it was even less than that, but yeah.
Okay. But like, so all told, we're talking about, 100 people, not one person has anonymously gone, here's why this is happening because we saw some wild shit and they came and got it instantly.
Yeah, but it would end up on like one of the Blogspot entries that we make fun of on our podcast. Nobody's taking that shit seriously if they go to any press with it.
But no one has any documentation. No one has.
I don't know. Have you checked all the paranormal blogs in the last 2 weeks? There's a lot of wild shit on there.
Oh, all of them?
Ryan, did you look at I was at sunspot.angelfire.com / this is a conspiracy theory?
/ this is a conspiracy.
Angel Fire. Wow. My head just blew up.
Because, check it out. Don't forget the HTTP.
It's definitely not HTTPS. There's no security there. It's HTTP.
I think that wraps up my speculation points. The last thing to add is that the observatory opened in 1947 in New Mexico.
Tight.
And what else happened in 1947?
Roswell,
baby. All right, before we go, what is it?
Oh,
what's your best?
I wasn't prepared for this.
I know, but I like that. What is your? If I have to say, this is what happened. What is it?
If I have to say, I'm gonna go with the combination theory of disgruntled employee / plot to steal liquid mercury.
Okay, all right.
Or poison people with liquid mercury, or some combination of doing nefarious things as a former disgruntled employee.
Okay. But how does that account for the closures of the other ones, though?
Coincidence, because there are hundreds of observatories and sometimes cameras go offline and places close.
Sometimes shit happens.
That's real.
The reason
they had 6 employees and the flu broke out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the reason I'm going with that particularly, not particularly, but just that particular idea is because it's the most like kind of average and non-interesting thing that could potentially warrant an interest from a federal organization like the FBI.
That's real. I fuck with that. Spencer?
Somebody tried to mail something, or somebody successfully mailed something harmful to the observatory through the local post office.
That's your best take? Or that's what you think it is? Okay. All right.
Well, you have to answer?
I know.
You can't just ask us and then act like the episode's over.
All right, see ya. I'm picking it because I don't know that it's most likely, but I think it's most fun that, and I'm not going to commit to it being anything like world-ending or apocalyptic or alien in nature. I think an anomaly was observed that was worthy of
further inquiry
that required procurement of data through more immediate means. I'll say that.
All right. I think you're wrong, but I respect your opinion.
He's right, though. It's more fun.
I think
if we're doing that, though, let's just say it's aliens or like we're orbiting a black hole.
Of course it's aliens. It's always aliens.
I mean, it's definitely aliens. If somebody was gonna put our theories together, we've got some asshole that tried to mail extra gallons of liquid mercury to the, you know what I mean? Like,
and also he knows about the aliens.
It's real. It's real.
Ryan's is more fun. Let's give him that.
We out of here. We love y'all. We mean it. We appreciate you. 99, man, this is crazy. 99. The 100th episode party is at Ice House in Minneapolis tomorrow night. If you're in town, come through. There's still tickets available. Poitras, thanks for being on the show, man. Anything you want to shout out before you bounce? Any links? Anything?
No, I got nothing to plug. I just want to say I love you guys. Thanks for including me.
For sure, man. Love you too, man. Mad love. 612-246-4614 if you want to leave us a voicemail. Hi at whatifpodcast.com for an email. We love you. We will see you next week.
Holy shit! Hey!